Welcome to another CMO Wisdom Podcast with Grant Johnson. Grant is a CMO, a mentor. Right now, he occupies the CMO position at BillTrust, formerly at Embers, and a bunch of cool companies. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about CMO stuff, mentoring stuff, SaaS and FinTech, best practices in scaling a business. It's going to be really fun. This pod is brought to you by podprior.com. If you want to start and scale your own podcast, that is, you can go to podprior.com. We help you monetize the unconventional way. Grant, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about BillTrust.
Yes, I'm a career marketer. I've always had a passion for marketing. With Generation AI, I continue to say what I've always said. This is the best time ever to be in marketing. You can learn and grow and scale your career, your company, your industry, and have a lot of fun. That's why we pick marketing in the first place. BillTrust is a leader in B2B and AR, which means accounts receivable. Basically, we help people get paid faster. And what business doesn't want that?
None. Everyone wants to get there faster. Your CMO career, what have been some of the greatest campaigns that you led, marketing-wise, that led to the greatest outcome?
Yeah, I tell you, early in my career, I'll give you a couple quick highlights, and then most recently, I had started in tech, and I was the company that was up to 2 billion. We doubled in size from 1 billion, and we launched the first people PC in China. The company was called AST, Albert, Sophie, and Tom, AST Computer, and that was in the 90s, late 90s. And then I was at Symantec, and I got to run marketing worldwide for Norton. And back in the day when people would buy software at stores, you remember that? You might or you might not. I helped design the yellow box that flew off shelves for Norton Utilities. And of course, when the internet took hold from the last couple decades, I've been a SaaS guy, internet guy, and I've had a lot of success scaling companies through what I call precision marketing. Targeting your audience, understanding your audience, their motivations, developing integrated, stepwise campaigns, testing, iterating, adapting, proving, and succeeding. And there's not one campaign that stands out because it really takes a series of campaigns and just being creative. That's really the science and art of marketing. I love the fact that we can track everything. But I also love the fact that you can still stand out with really good creative, really good messaging, really strong branding, and that's been a key to my success over the years.
Right. And as a CMO at the end of your career must be quite lucrative roles. Why haven't you decided to start some companies of your own?
That's a great question, Charles. I once had somebody say to me that, and they were observing my career, one of my mentors said, Grant, you're a hired gun. And I didn't take that as a pejorative term. It's like, I can make it happen. I'm an executional wizard. I love growing businesses. And, the part that I've done on my own, I started a few years back, is I've mentored 15 other CMOs. I have a site called CMOmentor.com. I'm currently mentoring generally 1 to 2 because I still work full time. And I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. There was a time in my career when I was a general manager, and it seemed like you had to work 7 days a week. I love playing competitive tennis on the weekends. I still compete at the national level. I've got 3 kids, and I just wanted work-life balance. And I suppose some CEOs strike it. Many don't. You've talked to some of those folks. It's at 7 by 24. And same with starting a business. You might put your house up for mortgage. I admire people that do that. But I'm really good at scaling businesses from 100 million to 1 billion and beyond. I'm not a pure startup guy, although I've done that. I was employee 14 at FrontBridge, and the company got bought by Microsoft. That was pretty cool back in 2005. But generally, I'm at companies, as you had noted, like FileNet or Pegasystems or Kofax, Embers, and now BillTrust, that I'm one of the executives brought in to get them to the next stage and beyond.
Quite fascinating that a bunch of your companies, probably 50% or more of them got acquired, sometimes by IBM, sometimes by OpenText. These humongous companies. Did you had shares in these companies when they were acquired?
Yeah, I've done pretty well. I'm still working. If I'd done better, I'd probably be, sitting on an island right now. But yeah, when you're the CEO, yeah, you make insane money. But if you're the head of one of the functions, you do fine. I have to say I'm quite happy that I've got 3 kids in college. Third one starts next year, and I can fund their colleges. I mean, that's my legacy, right? Help my kids succeed, help others succeed. So I've done fine, but no, I don't have crazy money like a lot of people.
Yeah, education nowadays costs a lot. Um, you've acquired lots of wisdom as a CMO. How are you applying everything that you've learned at BillTrust nowadays?
Another great question. One of the things I used to play chess as a youngster, and I still compete quite effectively in tennis. And it's one of the reasons that I can start fast and continue to grow and succeed is pattern recognition. In a lot of ways, business, chess, tennis, those analogies all work fine because you know the situation, you know what to expect, you can anticipate it, where if you're going to try a strategy, you're going to hit a wall, right? You know where the blind alley is. And I think that's partly, I know the CEO hired me at BillTrust. He said, Grant, we could have hired somebody who was a first-time CMO. We decided to hire a 5-time CMO. I know I don't have to worry about marketing. It's in good hands. I got plenty of other things I want to worry about, but I don't have to worry about marketing. It's not to say that we don't have an ongoing regular dialogue about things that we can do or do better. It's just that the odds of succeeding, I've taken one of these predictive index, and the recruiter said, you're 100% guaranteed to succeed. I said, well, I don't know about 100%, but I do feel confident.
Right, and BillTrust is this fascinating company. They reduce friction in accounts receivable with AI. Tell us a bit more about that company and specifically the use of AI to move faster in credit applications, cash applications, invoicing, and collections, for example.
Yeah, and we've had a number of years where, BillTrust, we've been a pioneer in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and now with Gen AI. And we have, like, in the Cash App or in the collections, we have a predictive index, like, hey, based on our analytics and our AI, this customer is going to be late to pay. This person you're going to have to put in collections. This company pays early, pay on time. You can actually sell them more. So there's a lot of practical applications. The great thing about what's happening with Gen AI, Charles, is that very soon, this year, we'll be shipping a finance co-pilot, right? And what that'll do is you can query your own data and say, hey, who is trending late? Who is paying fast? Where do I have the most potential based on analysis of our own data set? We use large data models, as others do, and we actually, process, hundreds of billions of dollars of payments. And so we can look in an anonymized way at our database and tell people, like, what we have is days to pay index, and say, look, you're in manufacturing, you're in healthcare, you're in heavy equipment, some of our key verticals, and you're getting paid faster or slower. We can help you get paid faster.
So what are your priorities in marketing? Beautiful website, cool ads, remarketing, most likely. What are you focusing on this year?
Yeah, this year it's about accelerating our transformation journey. We were a company that was uh, publicly held. We were taken private December of 2022. I joined January, a little over a year ago, of 23. And so we're about scaling our business. So adding additional customers, growing existing customers, expanding in geographies like Europe, and trying out new techniques. I'll give you an example. My marketing is about 40 folks, and last year we did a Gen I experiment. Not like the tech, everybody did. We did 442 experiments because there's so many tools, there's almost new and every day, and some work, some don't. Some work better at this, some work better at that. And so I try to foster an environment of continuous learning and growth. And my teams embrace that. And that's partly why I think we're a good contributor to the company's success, and we aspire to, contribute and be more impactful over time. But yeah, I think digital's a big thing. we've had a lot of success with content syndication, quite frankly. You write good content, you get it in front of the right people, they read it, they go to your website, they interact with you, and hopefully become an opportunity.
If I hire a CMO, should I expect him to or her to pay for their salary on year one?
Probably not. Oh, I mean, see, you mean to earn their salary? Oh, absolutely. Actually, I look at ROI of everything, meaning that, you're right. Whatever you invest, they should more than pay for it, like a multiple factor. For example, let's say your budget is $1 million. Just to use it, it could be 100,000 or 100 million. Let's say it's $1 million. For demand generation, you should at least create 5-to-1 ROI. I can't tell you what ours is. It's a secret, but it's much higher than that. So if you go to the board and say, look, you want to grow faster? If you invest in marketing, we can get you more revenue at a very exciting return. Just like if you're, capital, venture capitalist. So the same thing when you're talking to your CEO or your board, and that's exactly right. If you say, give me a year to prove myself, you probably have the wrong CMO.
Right, because for example, BillTrust, the stats I have here, so you guys are publicly listed, right?
We were public, we're now private. We're held by EQT. They're based in Sweden, European company, and they're the
Right.
third largest PE in the world. And we're going to stay private as long as we need to.
Yeah, there you go. And I see here 170 million a year. Maybe that was when you were publicly listed, but big company. And I'm guessing the marketing budget in these companies probably around 20 million a year, something like that.
Yeah, I can't disclose, but you're probably in a range of things. Let's say we're 170, we want to double that and then double that, and you certainly marketing is a percentage of revenue. So I think your math's not too far off.
Right. So ad budget is probably around 5-10 million, then 2 or 3 or 4 million in payroll, or 5 even. So yeah, it's I would guess that in that case, your marketing would need to yield around 40, 50, if not 60 million a year back into the companies. How do you calculate all of that?
Well, first I'll say that I was asked by another podcaster to disclose information I couldn't. I had to take a shot of hot sauce. So thanks for not asking that. But we calculate it based on a simple, funnel metrics. So that, you start with, what does it cost you to create a lead, and you go all the way through the funnel. That lead has to be qualified by, we use a BDR organization, and then it has to be, closed, and you have a close won percentage, and you have an average contract value. You just do the math. And the math has proven that we've got good ROI, and that's why we can scale effectively.
What platforms are you bullish on this year? I'm quite bullish on YouTube Shorts, on podcasting, TikTok. Where can you get the greatest return out of your ad dollars?
Yeah, honestly, for us, we've done all those, but we're exclusively B2B. In fact, we sell companies that we consider corporate or mid-market up. We don't do SMB. If I do more, I've done consumer marketing, SMB. Yeah, I would probably try more on those. But for us, certainly Google, Bing, LinkedIn, some YouTube. We'll certainly experiment more with some of the upcoming platforms that are growing in popularity. But retargeting has worked pretty well for us, and we'll just continue to experiment on all the digital vehicles that we can to see what gives us the best return, and also the most predictable return. Sometimes something works and it doesn't work. That's what I'm very hard on our events. You got to do events, but if the event doesn't have a positive return, it's kind of no reason to show up, right? For a physical event. Webinars are different, of course.
Right. And then how do you work with sales for them to have more and better pipeline?
Yeah, we have what we call a connected motion, flying formation, whatever analogy you want to use. We're one team. That's how the head of sales, myself, look at it. We have weekly calls up and down the chain. So the CRO, the CMO, my head of revenue marketing, the heads of sales, and we have dialogues all the time. Just because we're not, we're a virtual first company. Like, why is this working? What is it not? Why is it not working? Where do we get traction? Where do we not get traction? And it does vary by segment. Some things work better for enterprise, some work better for corporate or SMB. And so it's a partnership, and it's a mutual feedback. We try to, inspire each other to greatness. And we just came back for our annual sales kickoff. We actually did it in person in Atlanta last week. And it's great when you can form those relationships, you can take them to the next level. And I think it's working quite well.
What are inner games of tennis analogies could you make between tennis and being a CMO?
Well, I think it's a great one to think about. It all starts with having a plan, right? There's this book called Fuzzy Yellow Balls that other tennis players would recognize. It's got 50 plays. How do you hit against a serving volley, or what's the strategy against a counterpuncher, which I am? How do you go against a strong baseliner? So you got to go to good strategy. You have to be nimble and adaptable. Some things don't work. Like I've got a guy who played for 25 years. I crushed him yesterday because I tried a new strategy he'd never seen, right? But if I tried the old strategy, it wouldn't work. He's crushed me before when he had a new strategy. So I think that's what's great about, marketing and the inner game of tennis is you have to have the mindset, the willpower, the determination, and the endurance. Let's face it, I play 3-4 hour matches. Business is the long game. And so you just take your lumps and, figure out what you do best. I watched Sinner last night win. I know when this will be broadcast, it'll be old news, but he beat Djokovic, who'd won Australian Open 10 times. He had the belief that he could do it. He had the strategy. And first couple sets, look, Djokovic looked out sort of, he got a set Sinner 1-4. Sorry if I'm spoiling it for anybody who hasn't seen this, but he adapted. He'd lost before. He's figured it out.
Do you think it is boring to be a Djokovic always at the top, and feeling the wear and tear on your body? Or like, does this guy keep on working on his game and becoming 1% better on a daily basis?
I think so. People say you can go to 40s, 36. I don't really know. It's a tough sport. You're pounding, you're grinding. It's really hard.
Right. What are you doing on your side to take care of your brain and your body?
Yeah, it's funny. I've got a 20-year-old son who's on the tennis team, no surprise, at his junior college. And, for me, I continue to work on fitness, agility, flexibility. So I do, stretching, and I work out CrossFit. I don't know if this is a global thing, but Orange Theory is called here. But cardio, core, and then just technique. The great thing, as you said about YouTube, is everything is on, and you can, hey, can I apply this video to what I'm trying to do, or take a step by step? So I'm always working on something. Could my serve, my return to serve, my quickness to the ball. And I think just, that's the analogy of business. You got to, make everything better.
Are you bullish on podcasts being in B2B? You've been on many. Would BillTrust start his own potentially?
It's possible. It's in the range of possibilities. One of the things I've done some at other companies. I've had some success. I wouldn't say overwhelming success. So, as we think about what we might endeavor in 2024, it's on the list.
Trends of this year, what are you foreseeing in your field?
Well, there's certainly the acceleration of utilizing, Gen AI tools. I think, speed to market is it a trend? I think it's just a way of doing business. You've got to get to market quickly with something. You got to see if it works. If it works, scale. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. So I think those are a couple of the key things. And then just I think understand the customer journey, the buyer journey, and meeting them where they want to be met with relevant information to help them take the next step. They may not be ready to buy, but as long as you keep them engaged, when they are ready to buy, want to be top of mind, so that you're on the short list and you have a chance for an at bat to win.
Seems you're also bullish on physical events post-COVID. Tell us about that part of your strategy.
Yeah, it's part of the marketing mix. It fits in. I will say that the uh, uh, the return to in-person events has been welcomed. Last year, for example, we did what we call Inside on the Road, and we were in 4 major cities. And this year, we've got our annual conference in April in Phoenix. It's Moving Finance Forward. That's the brand positioning my team came up with, where BillTrust is moving finance forward to help your business. And we're expecting hundreds of folks. And we found, like from last year and previous times, that there's a certain level of connection and advancing the mutual understanding and partnership that can only happen, or certainly can be also accelerated in person. So I'm a big fan.
Last but not least, it seems that at your stage, it's really much about gathering customer testimonial and have them brave about your product. G2 is always a strategy there and being on the quadrant and so forth. So how do you make sure to gather all these great customer testimonial and be on top of that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I will say that it takes a dedicated, systematic, sometimes exhausted effort. I have a couple of terms that I use for documenting customer success, right? And you have to have a platform for doing it and a process for doing it, and it has to be cross-functional. Like if sales sells it and they don't, and the implementation team doesn't get it right, the customer will be unhappy that maybe we don't meet their expectations. And so it's a very conscious effort. I have a dedicated person that works on all those areas that you mentioned, the crowdsource. We've won 11 straight G2 leader in AR and accounts receivable. And so that I think it just takes a lot of effort. And then you have to tell the story in a compelling way. What was the situation? How did they approach it? What business value did they realize through adopting BillTrust technology and becoming a partner in the success of that company's business?
Well, Grant, thank you for all the value added today. Where can people find out more about you online?
Yeah, the best place to find me is on CMO Mentor, the letters CMO and mentor.com. It's got my Gmail contact that is, on LinkedIn. I'm Granny Johnson 1. And I really appreciate finding me, however you do it, and having a conversation about marketing and how cool it is and what the future holds, which is a lot of promise. And thanks again.